Around $1 billion of Indian pharma exports have a sword hanging on them from October. In a fresh round of tariffs, US President Donald Trump has announced 100% tariffs on branded and patented pharma products starting the 1st of October. He has, however, exempted those companies which are building their manufacturing plants in the US. The latest tariffs are expected to hurt Indian exports worth $1 billion, around a tenth of all Indian pharma exports to the US. Overall, US remains the largest single market for Indian pharma, accounting for around a third of the total exports last financial year. The shipments are largely dominated by generic drugs, and India, ironically, is responsible for whatever affordable healthcare is available in the US. Business Today's Chetan Bhutani is now joining us with more details on this. Chetan, help us understand the implications of this move by Donald Trump imposing 100% tariff on exporting pharma in US.
Well, we'll have to wait for the fine print to come out because earlier India was actually exempted from the pharmaceutical tariffs. But yes, we would definitely be seeing a lot of margins being hit for the Indian pharma exporters, because right now India does about a $28 to $30 billion exports of $1 billion pharma exports, and which accounts for literally one third, which is about $8 billion, goes to the United States, which could probably mean a revenue hit for the Indian companies, which is risking about $2 to $6 billion. The margin pressures for exporters could also be taken into account. But actually, diversification is what Indian exporters have been looking at for a very long time, because since the time in April when Trump actually hinted that 100% tariffs could be imposed on pharma, the Pharma Council of India and other export bodies actually started looking towards Latin America, Africa, and other markets, so that a quick diversification could probably mean a lesser impact on the companies and its subsequent margins. So yes, very few companies in India actually have a manufacturing base in the US, so that will be not a problem. But the companies who supply APIs and generics to the US and don't have a manufacturing facility in the US will currently have to face the 100% tariff from the United States. But yes, we'll have to wait for the fine print to come out and actually see who all are actually exempted and who all are actually slapped with 100% fine.
And can this also be seen by an arm twisting tactic by the Washington?
Well, absolutely, because we see, as I was mentioning earlier, that India has been looking towards diversification towards various trade markets. Because remember, India was actually in the initial phase in April, slapped with a 25% tariff, and additional in August, for 25%, which is totally about 50% tariff. But yes, it could be seen as an arm twisting move by the United States, because India has been diversifying, because India is actually looking towards fulfilling its trade deficit with China, which stands at about $99 billion, and Russia, Ukraine, and other markets, Latin America and African markets, are quite possibly opening up for Indian markets. So, in order to ensure that other countries come to the US and don't do arm twisting and going to the other markets, Washington probably wants to have more manufacturing at its base.
All right, Chetan, do stay with us. So, pharma exports to US will be impacted. 100% tariff has been exposed by Donald Trump. We'll tell you more about this now. As per PharmExcel, it rose 20% on year to $10.5 billion in financial year 2025, and US remains the largest single market. It also accounted for 35% of India exports, and that is why it is expected that these 100% tariffs are going to impact India largely. Shipments dominated by generics, and also 90% generics, 10% branded and patented. So this is going to be the impact which is likely of this move by Donald Trump. Chetan Bhutani continues to stay with us. Chetan, are the US patients going to be the biggest losers by this move taken by Donald Trump of imposing 100% tariff, which could make the treatment expensive, which was comparatively cheaper because of Indian medicines? All right, we'll try to re-establish that connection, but that's the biggest update, that Donald Trump has now imposed 100% tariff on exporting pharma to the United States.